Everybody, I want to say thank you all for coming here into Hoosick Falls. So you can clap if you want to. Thank you so much. You might ask yourself, why in the world am I here yet again? Why am I running around Rensselaer County? Why am I sitting here going across and now hitting what? I think I hit 7 different stops this weekend. During the holiday weekend. Why am I crazy? Well, yes, but it isn't why I did it. I am absolutely crazy, but that's not why I did it. I'm doing it because I want us to understand something. If we really want change in this state, it will only come from an independent party in this state. If we want to actually make it to where our family and our friends are not leaving this state, it will only happen if we actually make change in this state. Every one of us here knows of a friend or a family member who was packed up and left the state. We all know it. We are losing 300,000 New Yorkers every single year, and that number is going up, not down. And I would ask you, what Republican, what Democrat has an answer for this? None. They don't. Their response is always the same. Republicans just yell Democrats are bad, and Democrats yell more money, more money, more money. How can you keep spending more money when our tax base goes down? Those who don't know, just last year, the IRS said this is new. This is the IRS, their data. We lost $20 billion in revenue from migration. Repeat that one more time. $20 billion in revenue from migration for people leaving our state. What can we do to fix that? How can we make it better? Number one, get people to want to stay. My number one issue has always been and will always be getting people to stay in this state, to stop the bleeding. And there are 3 things you have to focus on to make it happen. 1, affordability. 2, opportunity. And 3, safety. If we focus on these 3 things, then people will stop leaving the state. That's our number one issue. We have to make people who retire stop packing up and leaving and retiring in Florida. They sit here in our state, work themselves so they get their pensions. Now they have their pensions, and they spend their pensions in Florida or in Arizona or in Texas or in Tennessee. I want you to retire in this state, and I want you to stay in this state and spend your pension in this state. But we have a problem. It's not easy to do that. I want you to grow your business in this state. I want you to get educated and not get educated and then leave because there's no opportunity in this state. Get your education and stay in this state. Keep our families together in this state. How many people do you know who they live here, but their kids have moved away? Or their kids still live here? Yep. And now their parents moved away. All over the place, constantly. Why can't they stay here? Because we don't make it good enough to stay. So what do Democrats say? Democrats say, well, the problem is you guys have these damn wood-burning stoves. That's the problem. If you take care of your wood-burning stoves, all of a sudden money to stay. Or if we had some congestion pricing in New York City, all of a sudden you'd stay all of a sudden. That would work. No. Republicans say, well, more cops for everything. Just make more cops, and all of a sudden everybody will stay. None of those are the answer. The answer is opportunity, affordability, and of course, one of the most important things, safety. So how do we actually do that? Number one, how can we make people all across the state want to grow their businesses here? Simple answer. Number one, we follow an actual law that's in Wyoming right now. And that law is, if you promise to just sell within New York State, that's it, the simple sign piece of paper, you are immune from all federal regulatory bodies. Imagine that. You're immune from federal regulatory bodies. So now if you're a farmer someplace and you want to sell raw milk, okay. You want to have your cows and your sheep slaughtered or your chicken slaughtered, case may be, you don't have to go to a massive home and pay big dollars and fight with the big guys anymore. You can locally decide to do farm to table or farm stand in any way you see fit. Treat our farmers like small business owners and watch them begin to grow. Because the second part of farming that we see here in New York State is that family members aren't staying on the farm. Why? They don't want to be farmers. Okay, you want to be a marketer? Grow your business. You want to be an operations person? Grow your farm business. Now the kids can stay on the farm. Now the grandkids can stay on the farm. The farmer can hire people who stay here. We can build out small farms like small businesses, allowing people to grow. But more importantly, once we have that happening, there are people in cities who want all the cool things that farmers want, aren't there? There are people in cities who want raw milk, who want fresh chicken eggs. Of course they do. Well, guess what? Now you have a reason, a pipeline to bring those farmers markets into the cities. So now Rochester can benefit from that. Why does that matter? What's one of the big problems in the cities? Food deserts. You can't get good food in most of these cities. Unless you're rich, then you're good. But if you're not wealthy, how are you going to get that good food? Well, guess what? If you make it to where these farmers can afford to bring it in, they will. They want money. You want good food, lower price. Middleman is cut out. Big business is cut out. New York State has grown itself from three things for literally centuries. Centuries. Finance, farms, and innovation. Those three things. And sadly, they're all going away. Innovation going away. Finance going away. Farms going away. As everything goes away, the state withers and dies. I'm talking about a way of fixing farming. That's the first thing I mentioned. How can we repair farming? Because farming moves into small business. And small business is what also used to be amazing in New York State. That's where innovation came from. Right? Gloversville, we make gloves. Right? Rochester, Flower City, we used to make all the flower products there, right? That's not true anymore. We've lost all of these things. As I cross this state, what do I keep seeing? I keep seeing all the things New York State used to have. I see it everywhere. You see too? All the things New York State used to have. Who's talking about that? Nobody. All they do is blow smoke up our ass and say how awesome New York State is as we all pack up to leave. That's what they do. They blow smoke up our ass and say how awesome New York State is and we watch all our family and friends pack up and leave. New York State is broken. I accept that that's true, but I also accept we can fix it. And we fix it by having actual answers and policies. And you might say to yourself, Larry, I don't like your policy. I think your policy's wrong or bad or should be tweaked. Thank you. Great. Don't you want me in a debate stage so we can actually have that debate? Don't you want me to have to ask whatever Republicans or yell how Democrats are bad to have that conversation? Don't you want me to have the Democrat have to say how we're going to pay for this stuff? Don't you want me to do that? Nobody else will. And here's the best part. Let's say my ideas are wrong, and you can show me a better one. I'm in. Yes, I just want to fix stuff. Every idea I've come up with since 2017 is on my website right now. Free. You can take it if you want to. I would ask you, what Republican has taken one of my policies? None. What Democrat has taken my policies? They can take it. They can just take it. Not one has come up with an answer or taken my policy. Why? They have no desire to fix this state. None. None. Down in New York City, we have a massive problem. There are 300,000 people leaving the state, and a lot of them are leaving New York City. You might say, why do I care about that? Because New York City now is under 8 million people for the first time in decades. That's a bad thing. Why? Tax base. Of those $20 billion that left New York, a lot of that was in New York City. It was finance people, bankers, all those kinds of people, tons of money to the state. They're gone now. They're in Miami or they're in Austin. That's where they are right now. They've left. And what does Texas and Florida have that we don't have? Oh, right, no income tax. That's exactly right, yes. No income tax.
Good weather, Larry.
Yeah, we forgot about that, didn't we?
Good weather.
Yes, and better weather too, but also no income tax. Yes, no income tax. So how are we going to reward people? Here's how we do it. I talked about farms. Let me talk about finance. I want us in New York State to create what's called the NIST, a New York State Social Trust. Very similar to what they do right now in Singapore, what they do right now in Norway. There's a trust that now big finance will begin to put their money into. Big finance puts their money into it, they get a dividend out. It is a guaranteed investment similar to a bond. Similar, but not no debt. They put in their dividends, all they do. As they put money in, that grows. As that grows and we make the money out of investments, that now directly pays for schooling. Directly pays for schooling. Why that? Two things. It must be a separate company, not part of the government. If it's part of the government will simply take it. You remember how the government always puts everything into the general fund? Some of you remember the lottery was for the education. Remember that lie? Yes, you remember that lie? Well, we don't do that. It's a separate company, a separate CEO with a mandate to pay for education. That solves many problems. Number one, right now, what is one of our biggest issues in affordability in housing? It is big finance buying up all the houses, right? They're buying all the houses up. Well, why are they buying up houses? Because they hate people? No, it's a good investment for them. What's a better investment? My trust. They'll put their money in that trust. They'll stop buying up all these houses. What does it mean? Families can buy housing again. Number one. But number two, I'm saying we're going to pay for schooling. If we pay for schooling directly, several things happen. The first thing is no need for school tax. If school tax goes away, that cuts the average New Yorker's property tax by about 50%. Gone. Cut, over, gone. Imagine so now housing prices are down because big business isn't buying anymore, and your property tax is cut in half. You might be able to live and stay here now. Maybe you can retire here now. Maybe the youth can actually rent a place here and start your life here now. Things begin to change. That's an actual answer. But I'll go one step further. That helps them out. It also helps retirees out. Because now, if they have a mortgage, it's cut in half. I'm sorry, if they have the property tax, it's cut in half. So now all of a sudden, the property tax is cut in half. People might retire here again. But Larry, wait a minute. Oh my God, what about schooling? If the NIST pays for schooling directly, there is no need for federal dollars and no need for state dollars. None. If there's no need for those two, all those administrators that are fattening up our school district all be let go. I think, yes, all be let go. The problem in our schools is not our teachers. The problem is our administrators. And if you look at teachers, why they leave, and there's such burnout here across the states, why do teachers leave? Two reasons. One, they're tired of all the bureaucracy. Or number two, they decided to go into the bureaucracy. Why wouldn't they? They get better benefits, and their pay is literally doubled. I'm not joking. The average teacher in New York State makes $70,000, $80,000 a year, which is a living wage, but the average administrator makes double that. Some administrators in our state make $300,000 or $400,000 a year and don't even deal directly with kids. And most of their job is making federal and or state bureaucrats happy. Once you remove that, most of them go away. Now, all that money can go to teachers or classes or classrooms or whatever the local people want it to be. Well, Larry, I want local control of my school district. You now can. Because with no federal funds, there's no strings attached. They can't force you to do what the federal government wants them to do, and they shouldn't. I know some people say, wait a minute, Larry, don't you want a federal Department of Education? Don't you want that? Some people, don't you want that control? No. No. For those of you who don't know, prior to 1980, the Department of Education at the federal level had no power at all. None. It was basically a repository for information, almost nothing. 1980, it began to have power. Now, I'm old enough. I have some gray hair. I'm old enough. I remember that if you actually went to school before 1980, somehow you learned how to read and write. I did. You learned script. I even learned script. I could sign my name. Isn't it crazy? I could read and write, do math, all these things. Is there anyone in this room who would say that since 1980, our education has gotten better? Nobody would say that. So no, I'm okay with local people handling their own issues. I'm okay with that. So just with that idea, now I'm finding a way to lower taxation, end school tax, keep people here, and give us a better education. But I'm going to go one step further. Once we start paying directly in the school districts, now the money follows the child. $18,000 per kid with a very special piece. If you don't like your school district, no worries. I hope you will try to join the board and try to fix it. You try. It's not what you want. No worries. Every person gets a $6,000 credit to either go to private school or homeschool. So now if you don't like the school district, you can still private, you can go to private school or to homeschool. But it's still your school district. So why don't you get the whole amount? Because you can still use the facilities of your school district. I don't want your kid to not be able to be in the football team or the math club or whatever just because you homeschool them or just because you private school them. They're still part of your community. Join the community. Please be on the football team. But now you're homeschooled, you show up and go to the football team. Or use the library. Use the facilities of your community to keep the people together as a reason, a place to go for your kids to get together besides sitting on their phone in their bedrooms. Besides that, I mean, you can do that anyway, of course. But besides that, to also give them a place to go, to build that community back up, and we can do that. This can be done. And again, you might be saying to yourself, Larry, I don't like that idea. It should be this or it should be that. Where is the debate? It doesn't exist. I'm the only person giving you an actual answer, and an answer based on things being done. This is being done already. Again, in Norway and Singapore, it's being done. If you think it's crazy, look into it. Are my numbers off? Tell me. I'm happy to have that conversation. But nobody will. What they'll do is they'll push me off the ballot. They'll ignore me. They'll push me aside because they don't want to fix these problems. Because if they don't fix the problems, then they can still keep making money. And right now, New York State is not about solving any problem. It's all about making money. We give the perfect example. You might say to yourself, Larry, why did we decide to give $850 million to the Buffalo Bills to build a new stadium? Why would we do that? That makes no sense. And I would argue it makes total sense. Depends what you're trying to achieve. Now, why would I say it's okay? Here's why. Every single owner of a football team in America, in NFL, is a billionaire. Everyone. Every player is a millionaire. Everyone. So why would I give taxpayer dollars to people who are not billionaires to these people? They can all self-finance. In fact, you might not know this, most stadiums are self-financed. Banks love giving money to billionaires. They will give money to billionaires all day long. So they can always self-fund their own stadium. So why would you fight that? Why would you do that? And if you happen to know Western New York, the Buffalo Bills are going nowhere. Yes, you're laughing. They're going, you know, they're going nowhere. If you live in Western New York during the season, a morning greeting. It's not good morning, it's go Bills. That's the greeting in Western New York. Go Bills, go Bills. That's the greeting. Bills are going nowhere, right? It's nowhere. So why would you do it? Because now she is available to give out $850 million in jobs to her friends, her cronies, her union associates. That is her power to give out money so they will do as she says. This is about control. So if your goal was to help New Yorkers, terrible idea. That's not her goal. Her goal is to maintain her power politically. Wonderful idea. Well done. But you might go, well, Larry, I get it. But we should have said use Republicans because they're better. They're not. Republicans have a big problem. In this state, in a statewide election, not locally, Republicans win local all the time. In a statewide election, a Republican has not won an election in this state, governor, senator, AG, in 22 years. And the state is getting bluer, not redder. Florida is red now. Some of you remember when Florida used to be a swing state. It's not anymore. Why? All the red New Yorkers went down there and turned it red. I'm not joking. That actually happened. It's red because of New York. Second? That's correct. 100%. So the people who would vote against Kathy Hochul are leaving in droves. So the state's getting bluer. It's never going to happen. So what Republicans always do? They lie to you. And I mean Republican establishment. The individual Republican vote doesn't know. The Republican establishment literally lies to you. And they go, this is the year. This is the year. This is the year. It wasn't the year in 2006, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, or 22. It was a lie back then. It's a lie now. And they will tell you again. Thank you. It is a lie. It's not going to happen. It's not the year anymore. But why would they do it? Well, because they care. No, because they grift too. And I told you all, if you were paying attention, I told you all last year, the guy who was running last year, most of you remember his name, that guy, when he was running, I told you why he ran. He ran because he was afraid with redistricting, he would lose his seat in Long Island. And that's why he ran. That's correct. So he said, I'm going to run for governor so I can raise a bunch of money and grift, and at the end, I'll pay off my friends, and then I'll buy myself a new job. And I warned you all that 3 months after the election, he'd be running a PAC. Anyone know what he's doing right now? He's running a PAC. Is that correct? Because you can raise $13 million legally. No, yes, I'm psychic. I am. I know how the system works. It's why I ran in the first place, because I hated it. It's why I ran. He actually raised about 14 million, spent like 9 million, whatever he did, had 4 million left, donates the money to a PAC, and now takes over the PAC and they pay him salary. He bought himself a job. And it's legal. It's unethical in my view. But totally legal. It's not illegal. You can do it. You do it all the time. So he bought himself a job, right? And then remember the leader of the Republican Party? The chair of the GOP? Yes, he told you all. He lied. We're going to win. This is our year. I'm going to focus on that. And then the second he saw an opening, what did he do? He stabbed Carl Palladino in the back, ran for Congress. Now he's a congressman. So he's now set for life. So the two people who lied to New Yorkers across the state, Republicans, they both got set. Where are we? Still screwed. Our life has not changed. All of them won. Only we lost. Republicans and Democratic leadership all won. We lost. And we keep believing it. And we keep buying it. I'm not okay with that. I ran in 2018 for a very important reason. When I was going to leave the state. I was done with the state. So I said, I'm going to get out of here. I'm done with it. What I do as a living, I'm a business consultant for a living. So I need a big city so I can make my money, I need big companies. So I thought I'd move down south. I thought I'd move to Charlotte. So I thought, Charlotte, North Carolina, big city, big businesses, I'll be fine. I went down there. And when I went down there, I realized I could sell my shoebox of a place in Queens and buy a mansion in North Carolina, have a better lifestyle, less taxes. But instead of moving, I got angry. I got angry because I said to myself, why is my beautiful state that literally has everything that you can imagine, from Broadway to Niagara Falls to hunting, fishing, skiing, lakes, everything you can imagine, the best fall in the entire country, everything you can imagine here, from New York Yankees, Buffalo Bills, you name it, it's here.
Yes.
Not the Mets. Everybody else is all here. Why is my government so oppressive that it makes this state suffer? So I said, I'm going to come back, 2018, I'm going to run for governor, I'm going to fix this state. I'm going to win and fix this state. Clearly, did not go as planned. I didn't win. But during that election, during that campaign, I saw how broken this system was. I saw how many people who I met who were politicians who kept telling me I'm the stupid one for trying to fix things, who were actively, aggressively angry at their constituents because they got in their way of grifting, who didn't care about repairing things, but cared about how to repair their relationships with the people who give them money. And I said, I'm running again in 2022, and I'm going to stop that. And I kept crossing the state. Those who don't know, I cross this state every year, all 62 counties. I did it in 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, and now 2023. It's my 6th year doing it.
Yes.
Yes. I crossed the state because I want to keep meeting people and talking to people. And they're often shocked that when I say things, they're like, wow, Larry, you're right. Yes, because I meet people and they tell me their problems. They tell me their issues, and I come up with policies to repair them, and I tell their stories. You will find others say that, like our current queen, Her Majesty Queen Kathy, first of her name, she will tell you that she will cross all the states, the counties. She's right. She will go from fundraiser to fundraiser to fundraiser to fundraiser the year she's running. The year she's running, she'll go to each fundraiser each. Is she talking to New Yorkers? No. But if you follow me, every single time I go to some place, what is it? A local business. Every time I go to a local business, and I've done over 500 of these. This is all on my website. And I do it the same way. No notes, live, and I live it whenever I can. Whatever you get from me, you get, everyone else gets. I don't just tell you, oh, you're the cool people, I tell you this, then I tell you something else, then I tell you something else. No, this is the same thing I tell everybody. This is who I am. I hope you see it. So I got upset and I said, I'm going to fix this thing. I'm going to run now and make things better. But what happened? True story. December of 2021, when I'm trying to start to run again, we're polling. I am polling at 6%. You might say 6%, is that good? I'm a libertarian in New York State, and I hadn't even announced. That is amazing. That is huge. Polling at 6%, and it was against the other two runners, and I hadn't even announced yet. Oh my God, amazing. So I go to the other parties and say, look, let's create a coalition. I'll lead a coalition, all of the parties against Kathy Hochul and Democrats, and we can maybe win this thing. Democrats outnumber everybody in this state 3-1, right? The Republicans outnumber Republicans. There's about 6.5 million Democrats in the state, about 3.5 unaffiliated in the state, and about 2.5 Republicans in the state. That's what it is right now. But if we connect and against some Democrats, we could actually win this thing if we all get together. I know this because in 2018 when I ran, about 25% of the people who supported me were Democrats. So I know Democrats will vote for me. I know that. The data is in. That's a fact. We get it together, we win. All the other parties got scared. The Republicans said, ooh, you're right, Larry. I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't you run as a Republican? I said, then I'll lose. Republicans can't win in this state. That's been proven for 22 years. I have to be a third party so that others will vote for me. I can't create a coalition being part of the establishment. It doesn't work. It cannot work. It's impossible. And they went, well, then you can't run. I said, do me a favor. I'll tell you what. Let me run in your party as a libertarian. I'll run in your primary. Just like Bernie Sanders is officially a communist, but I'm going to say socialist. Officially socialist. Communist, but officially socialist. And he runs the Democratic Party, right? They let him run in that party. If he wins the nomination, he gets the nomination, even though he's not Democrat. I said, Republicans, let me do that. Then you run your primary as Libertarian. If I win the nomination, then you'll give me your line. I'll have multiple lines. You can make a coalition and win this thing. And they went, wow, you know what? You probably could do it. I went, yeah. They go, great. We're going to sue you off the ballot. That was their answer. And the Republicans and Conservative Party together sued me off the ballot last year. I spent $400,000 trying to get the ballot, and I lost. I couldn't be a ballot. Didn't work. So instead of them saying, let's try to fix things, they said, you know, you're going to mess up our grift. We're about money not fixing things. We're going to sue you off the ballot. If things go well this time and we push forward, we can make a change. How do we do that? We do it by doing a very important thing. We need to get ballot access, party status for an independent party next year in 2024. How do we do that? We have to get 60,000 total signatures in 6 weeks in April. That is not an easy thing to do. That is 10,000 a week. That is impossible unless we have volunteers and money. Those two things, we can do it. So why am I talking to you about this now? Once you realize I need 3 things. Any of them you can give me, I'll take. 1, next April, be a volunteer for me. Get out there and help get me some signatures. If you've got time in April, we can put a team together, jump on board, and help me get some signatures. 10 is good. I'll take 1,000, but 10 is fine. Whatever you can give me, I need signatures. 2, give me money. You don't have time, give me money. Go on to LarrySharpe.com, donate, give me some cash. Why? So I can pay people to go out and get me signatures. If you've got more time than money, give me time. If you've got more money than time, more time, money than time, more money than time, more money. Give me what you have more of. Whatever you have, help me out either way. Lastly, I need you to spread the word. You're saying, Larry, I love you, but I don't have either of those things. You do have a mouth and you've got social media. Give me that. Tell people about this and spread the word on social media. Whether it's Twitter or Facebook, I don't care what you're on. You on TikTok? All good. I don't care. Whatever you're on. Spread the word, donate, or show up. Those are the 3 things I need. All are important, all matter. If we do that, we will get ballot access for an independent party in 2024, and we can actually run again in 2026. If we run in 2026, Democrats will be afraid, and so will the Republicans, which means they'll have to act. And if they act, we win. You might say to yourself, Larry, is it a winnable race? If the Republicans back me, yes, it is a winnable race. What if they don't? Could be winnable race, still possible. Winnable race possible. But either way, what if I come in second? Why would that matter? The Republicans told you a lie last year. They said, we can win, if not, we'll come in close. And they lost by about 5 to 7 points. They lost. That's what I predicted anyway. I put around prediction. I said it, I was right. That's me, they lost 5. Yeah, when they lost, what changed in New York? Nothing. It was a colossal waste of time and money. But imagine if I'd come in second. Just imagine that. What would have happened? Earth-shattering. A libertarian comes in second in New York State. Every single press outlet is talking to me, asking me questions. I'm on TV. I'm talking about these issues. Everything's come to the forefront. My ideas have to go forward. Kathy Hochul can't just ignore me. She has to do something. How do I know that? If you look at Kathy Hochul, I'm not joking, if you look at her inaugural address, she used my talking points from my website in her inaugural address. Yes, she did. She used my talking points when she accepted the nomination and when she actually won in her victory speech.
If you want to talk to her, someone with her door closed.
Her door was totally closed. Correct. Yes. She had nothing to say. She didn't talk to me at all. But her people read my website and knew it was savage, so they used my talking points. They used those. They didn't change anything. But they used my wrong talking points. Yes, absolutely. So imagine if I had come in second. She'd have to accept some of my ideas because now I have a mandate. And now we can change the state. I don't want to leave New York. I want to fix New York. I'm trying to repair it. I have kids. One is right there. I have kids, yes. I would like my kids to stay. I would like to stay. I would like you all to stay. But we can't do it if we don't fix it. If we do it, we can run. We can have an opportunity. You might say, well, if you win the governorship, it doesn't matter. You can't change anything. Not true. Right now, the New York State Senate is almost 50-50. All I need is 2 or 3 New York State senators to turn and become libertarian. And I know they will because they've already told me. I know they will turn because they won't become libertarian because they're not a party. They can't win. But once I have the governorship, they will turn. I will then control the state Senate and I will control the governor's house, which means nothing gets passed without my state Senate and me. Control of the swing vote. The swing vote can control the state Senate. So it will have power. We can make things happen. But more importantly, if we have a strong independent party, a strong libertarian party here in this state, we will have better Republicans and better Democrats. Republicans are supposed to be about small government and less taxes. They're not. But they're supposed to be. The strong libertarian party, they will have to be. Democrats are supposed to be about civil liberties. They're not. They're supposed to be. But the strong libertarian party will have to be. Because now people care about those things. We'll have to vote libertarian and not them. We are better Democrats than Democrats are, and better Republicans than Republicans are. So they will have to be better. They will have to lose their power. While they may not care about us, they do care about power. Absolutely. We can fix this. Answer is getting ballot access for next year. The answer is supporting it. One of those 3 things. Time or sharing or donation. Whatever you can do, if you do all 3, do all 3. Whatever you do that. And tell people this is happening. It does matter. No one else is forcing the state. There's no other independent party movement in the state right now, but personally talking to you right now. This is the only movement that's happening right now. It's just me. Get behind me, make this happen, we can make a change. Thank you so much. Thank you. I am. Go ahead. Yes. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm happy to take it. Thank you. Of course, please. Yes. Absolutely, yes. So, does anybody else have any questions or comments? I'm happy to take any questions or comments. Any? Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.